let's continue our 1.1 lesson and look at some application problems where we have to actually write the equations before we solve the problems. And for most of these, you will be able to figure the answer out without writing the equation, but it is good practice to get used to writing the equation for when we get more complicated problems. So first problem, Clive is 19 years younger than Josh. Clive is 34. Write and solve a subtraction equation to find Josh's age y. I'm actually going to highlight the important information. So I think 19 and younger is a big deal because that means I would subtract versus older would mean I'd add. And then Clive is 34. Write and solve a subtraction equation. There you go. So subtraction to find Josh's age, y. Okay. So when we set this up, I know that Josh, I shouldn't say that, we're going to use y and pretend that that is Josh's age. And we are going to subtract 19 from it since Clive is 19 years younger than him. That should give us Clive's age, which is 34. So our equation that we will use to model this situation is y minus 19 equals 34. Okay, we are going to do everything else just like we did in the last video. So we're going to draw our line. We are going to cancel our minus 19 by adding 19 to both sides. 19 instead of 9. And you should get 53. Now, as a word problem, I'd love you to at least label. You could say 53 years old, or you could say, be more detailed and say Josh is 53 years old. We're going to skip over the triad. That's for you to try on your own. Example 3 says Andy had some baseball cards after he bought 12 more. Let's go ahead and highlight right away. So you got 12 more. So more means add when I'm thinking about it. He had 48 cards. So this is a total. And when I have a total, I like to do an equal sign. So our total is 48. There's going to be something else before it. How many cards did Andy have at the start? So how many cards is what we're looking for. So he had a certain amount of cards when he started. We can use any variable here because they didn't tell us what to use. I'm going to use B because we're talking about basketball cards. You could use C, you could use X, but B plus 12, since he added 12 cards or bought 12 more cards, we're going to add there instead. Okay, again, solving just like we did in the last video. Draw your line. You're going to add 12 to both sides. Sorry, subtract 12 from both sides this time because it is addition and we need to undo that. So 48 minus 12 gives us 36. So we could say Andy had 36 basketball cards. Again, the next one is for you to try on your own. Let's move down to example 4. Tricia picked the same number of tomatoes each day. This here typically means you're going to multiply something in the problem. Okay. In 4 days, she picked 52 tomatoes. This seems like a total. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to make that equals 52 because I think that's the total amount. How many tomatoes did Tricia pick each day? Let n represent the number of tomatoes she picked each day. Okay, so each day, all we need to do is to find the total, we are going to say 4, which is how many days she picked tomatoes, times n, which is how many tomatoes she picked, equals the 52, which is our total number of tomatoes over the 4 days. And we are going to solve it. Remember from the last video that if the 4 and the n are right next to each other, that is multiplication. So to cancel, we are going to divide by 4 on both sides to get n equals 13. So she picked 13 tomatoes. Each day. Again, skipping that triad problem, moving down to the very last example here. This video is not, or sorry, this picture is not in your notes packet. It did not get copied in there. I apologize for that mistake. But it does tell you that the student group rate is a half off of a $79 ticket. So I'm gonna do a little work there in my calculator. To find half of $79, I'm going to do 79 divided by 2, which gives me $39.50. And that will come in handy. Okay, the 15 members, so 15 is important, of the Adventure Club go on a group underwater diving trip. Student groups receive a special rate on snorkeling tickets that is half of the daily rate. So this is the student rate. Student group rate. Write and solve an equation to find T, the total cost of snorkeling tickets. Now, this one to me makes more sense to say the total is going to equal the cost per ticket, which is $39.50, times the number of tickets. So a lot of you are going to do that instead of actually writing an equation in the same format that we've been using. So you're going to do $39.50 times 15, which tells us our total cost for the whole group is going to be $592.50. Your other option is to write it this way. The total divided by the number of students is going to give you the price per ticket. Now, this one isn't as natural to me, so I would be okay with you showing it the other way. Try that last problem. If you have any questions, let us know. If not, get that practice done. Have a great day.